Question of the week from the Naked Scientists.
Hello and welcome to Question of the Week. I'm Eva Higginbotham, and this week I've been slicing up an answer to this question from Mervyn.
I'm wondering, is sourdough bread a healthy option?
Now, sourdough bread happens to be my absolute favourite, especially toasted with salted butter. Delicious. I put the question to dietitian Rebecca McManaman, but first things first, what actually is sourdough?
Sourdough bread is different from regular bread because it hasn't had yeast, dried or fresh yeast added to it. Instead, the thing that makes it rise is, if you like, natural or wild yeast that's living in the air.
To make sourdough, instead of buying baker's yeast, you start off with what's called a sourdough starter, a mixture of fermented flour and water that's captured natural yeast from the air. The tasty tanginess of sourdough comes from naturally occurring lactobacilli bacteria, which produce lactic acid. But are there any health benefits alongside those taste benefits?
So it could act as a prebiotic, and it may have a slower release of energy from carbohydrate. So prebiotic means that it acts as a food or a fuel for the beneficial or the good bacteria that live in our gut.
The bacteria in our gut help us digest our food, so it's only polite that we feed them things they like too. The prebiotic in sourdough is in the form of fibre that we can't digest, but the bacteria can, and they will get nutrients out of it. Sourdough bread made with wholemeal flour has other benefits too.
Wholemeal sourdough bread has a lower glycemic index than white or wholemeal bread, meaning that the blood glucose level rises less after eating sourdough at 2 hours than with other breads. So it might be part of a helpful tool to manage blood glucose in people with type 2 diabetes.
It's thought that the fermentation process involved in making the rising agent for sourdough changes the structure of the starch in the bread, making us digest it more slowly and so preventing blood sugar spiking. All good news so far, but there are some potential drawbacks.
If you make it at home, the dough could spoil when you're making it. And it's also easier to maybe eat a slice of artisan bread that's a bit bigger than one that's already pre-sliced.
So, what's the verdict?
So sourdough, yes, it could be a healthy option, but as always, it's got to be in the context of your portion and in a diet that's got a mixture of different plant-based sources of fibre.
Hooray! Time for toast! Thanks, Rebecca. Next time, we'll be answering this question from Paul.
Wondering if it's possible to get DNA out of crematorium ashes. Could you get any information about the person, such as weight or height, from their ashes?
So, what do you think? You can email chris@thenakedscientist.com, find us on Facebook, tweet @nakedscientists, or join in the debate on the forum. That's at thenakedscientist.com/forum.